Welcome back to Foxborough Rush.
Come on.
Balekji, Travis Thomas. Now we'll talk coaching.
All right.
Where would you say Mike Vrabel in your eyes, throwing you on the fire here?
What,
We
rank?
have this, yes. All coaches in the NFL right now.
I would say slightly above the average. I don't think he's some top 10 coach, but I also don't think he's, bottom feeder either. But I think he's better than average. I guess out of 32 head coaches, I'd probably put Vrabes right outside of the top 10, if I'm being fair, 12, 13 range-ish.
I love my Matt LaFleur. I love my Dan Campbell, but I put them above them, and I think they're top 10.
You want to do it?
I don't have a pen.
Let's do it. I got a pen.
Let's do this real quick.
Let's just go off top.
So the
best
head
coaches.
Andy Reid.
Deal.
He's number one. Sean
All right.
McVay is 2 in my opinion.
All right, keep rattling them off. I'll keep track. You don't got to do it. I got you.
Do we go with what's his face?
Who? If we got to ask this, what are we doing?
Sirianni.
No. I'll go
John
Tomlin.
Harbaugh.
I'll go Tomlin.
Siri, what are you doing? Oh,
I'll go
because I said
Tomlin.
Sirianni.
You want both Harbaughs or one Harbaugh?
Tomlin 3?
No, I'm just saying better than Vrabel.
Oh,
better than
okay. I
Vrabel.
see what you're doing. Sorry.
Will you go both Harbaughs?
Yeah, Mike Tomlin. Yes.
Okay, I'm writing Harbaughs.
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan, I'm with you.
Nick Sirianni?
Anymore? No.
Okay.
I'm taking Vrabel over Sirianni.
Okay.
Don't say, well, he won the Super Bowl. Stop. You could coach that team and win a Super Bowl. We said McVay. Reid, McVay, Tomlin, 2 Harbaughs.
Would you go Dan Campbell?
Shanahan.
I
1,
wouldn't.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 dudes right now. Who'd you say?
Okay. Here,
Campbell?
Would you go Dan Campbell? I wouldn't.
I like Vrabel.
I like Vrabel above Dan Campbell.
All right.
Here's your boy, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton?
You're doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
You're not?
No.
Lord have mercy. I'm putting Payton because, duh.
Commanders head coach Dan Quinn?
No.
Zach Taylor with the Bengals? No. Todd Bowles with the Bucks? No.
We're missing Avi's, though.
Kevin Stefanski?
No, I
Kevin
like Vrabel more.
Stefanski?
The kid in Minnesota can
Kevin
coach,
O'Connell?
dog.
Kevin O'Connell?
I'm sorry, I'm putting
You're
O'Connell.
putting Kevin O'Connell
I
above
think he
Mike
can
Vrabel?
coach. I think I am, bro.
You know how much I like Kevin O'Connell.
Dude can coach.
Offense.
We don't have to do it. Sean Payton is egregious that you're not saying Sean Payton. I just want you to know. You need to check yourself.
We said
you're
Dan
tripping.
Quinn, our producers in our ear. We said Dan Quinn. We said Sean McVay. We said Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
McVay above him, not LaFleur.
Are we done? That of definitive?
D'Amico Ryans? No.
No. I like D'Amico, but I think D'Amico and Vrabes are right there. Okay.
Well, hold on. Brian Dable?
No.
Sean McDermott?
Hell
Definitely
no.
not. I know. I'm naming names.
All right. I think we got
Dave
it.
Canales?
No.
Liam Cohn?
No. 1, 2, 3.
Raheem Morris?
4, 5. We have 6 guys right now ahead of Vrabel. I might have shorted him.
Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll's a better coach than Mike Vrabel.
No.
I don't like him with the Raiders.
I don't
didn't
think
like
so.
the end of Seattle. Pete Carroll's a better coach than Mike Vrabel.
I don't think so. I think
Yes,
Mike
he
Vrabel's
is.
a better coach.
I don't have to put him on the list,
Pete
but
Carroll
we're
had a
tripping.
long run. He had a really good defense. Like he had
That's fine.
he had a better quarterback.
I'm not writing his name
better
down.
receivers. He had a better running. He
Not
had a more
writing his
talented
name.
offense than Mike Vrabel ever had.
Do
and
we
a
have
more talented defense?
Should we put LaFleur ahead of Vrabel?
No. Because LaFleur's a really good play caller and schemer.
Okay.
But the in-game decision making is always really poor by him.
Okay.
Like Mike Vrabel was winning with Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback.
Facts.
Who's good? But it was Ryan Tannehill.
All right, then I'm tripping. He is top 10 because we just did it, and we only have 6 definitive.
Who are the names you have? Andy Reid.
Definitive. We have Reid, McVay, Tomlin, both Harbaughs, Shanahan, and Payton. Those are only definitive. Everybody else is debate land. Pete Carroll at this advanced age. D'Amico Ryans doing a great job in Houston. I think that's a fair debate, right?
Yeah.
I think Mike Vrabel would tell you that's a fair debate between those two. Everyone else is debatable, but definitive, we only name 6 dudes.
Let me ask you, as a guy that spent time, obviously
7.
from Baltimore, spent time in D.C., John Harbaugh, like, it's legit with him? You know, there's
Yes.
head coaches where they have really good coordinators around him, like John Harbaugh.
Well, they've lost a ton of coordinators that keep winning.
Right, and he keeps winning and keeps
he
being
is.
relevant.
I was someone in town that people didn't love because I was trying to run him out of town every year. I was like, you got to move off of Harbaugh.
Would you really get flack for that?
Yeah, of course.
Like, people
Yes.
didn't like you because of that?
Yes. And,
Get over yourself.
and my point was...
Come at my boy.
My point was the talent is here where you have to maximize it. Going back in the day, remember Dungy built the Buccaneers,
Then
but
got
they
fired,
could never get
and
over the...
what, Gruden
came in and won.
Won
So
with them.
that was sort of the comparison I made back then all the time, was you got to get Harbaugh out of here. You got to get someone in who can take you over the hump. And that was a wrong take because eventually he just kept winning. Now, technically, I mean, he does, what's he have? What's Harbaugh, John have? 2 rings now with the Ravens? Or just the one?
No, one. Just one.
Just the one, right?
That was, 2013, I want to say?
So, I mean.
2013
He probably should have more hardware, but I'm off the John Harbaugh can't coach train, I'll tell you that. So both the Harbaughs belong on this list.
I mean, to be fair, when they made the playoffs.
We have 7 guys ahead of Vrabel.
A lot of divisional round losses.
You talking about Ravens?
Yeah, he's lost in the divisional round 3 out of their last 5 appearances, wild card twice out of their last 6. And then conference championship game. He's a good coach. I was just curious. It's just like a side. So you'd put Mike Vrabel as the 7th best head coach.
Yeah, he's top 10. I'm tripping. I think I started the segment saying he's right outside the top 10. He's top 10 doing the exercise here.
Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Mike Tomlin, Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh.
Both Harbaughs. Yep.
Sean Payton.
Yep, and
Mike
Shanahan.
Vrabel. That's my order. I put Jim above John.
Shanahan's in there.
Oh,
you forgot Shanahan.
Okay.
So we have 7 guys ahead of him. So Vrabel's 8. Or debatable. Again, that's where you start. I'm higher on Kevin O'Connell than you, apparently, which is weird because you're an O'Connell guy.
I put Kevin O'Connell right behind Mike Vrabel.
Well, that's what I mean. That's where now you're in debate land.
You know me, man. I go crazy for the offensive-minded guys, the play callers, the creativity, what these guys do with worse quarterbacks, what Ben Johnson was doing with Jared Goff, what Kevin O'Connell's doing with Sam Darnold, what Matt LaFleur was able to do with Aaron Rodgers at the end of his tenure, and what he's been able to do with Jordan Love and keep him growing, coming along. I can't get enough of those guys.
Me too.
What Sean McVay continues to do with Matt Stafford at his old age in the receiving room and how he turns it all and all of that. What Kevin O'Connell is great. Mike Vrabel, like, there is a thing when you're watching a football team, how sound they are and how good they are within the margins. It's Mike Vrabel.
George, there's nothing wrong with that, though, because you and I both, we like Stefanski. We like Taylor and Cincy. We like a lot of guys, but I guess the point is, definitively, there's only 7 we can both agree on that are better than Vrabel. And then it starts to be a debate. So because of that, you have to say Vrabel's top 10.
Yeah.
Now, where you place him in the top 10 can change.
Yep.
But he's a top 10 coach in this league. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. Good for the Patriots. You know what you should have done? Hired him a year ago. Call me crazy.
Probably be in a better spot where you weren't picking 3rd overall.
That's a fact.
You probably would have had a better offensive line, made better moves to construct that.
That's a fact.
That's the thing, too, that with all of this is Elliot Wolf's plan was Chuks Okorafor at left tackle.
Right.
But it seems like Chuks Okorafor never knew that was a plan. Because that's why he left the team.
That's a problem.
He's like, I got paid. I'm not playing left tackle. And, like, something happened with him. I hope his mental health's okay. All right, we just ranked him.
Todd Bowles is underrated. Todd Bowles feels like a top 10 coach to me. What?
If I was the Buccaneers, I would have fired Todd Bowles this past season and elevated Liam Cohn to keep him with Baker Mayfield. I would have picked a guy like Liam Cohn on the up-and-coming, like a rising coach, over Todd Bowles.
I mean,
I think Todd Bowles is okay.
I also think.
Yeah, Dave Canales there 2 years ago was a really good OC.
Todd Bowles is okay.
He's okay.
A champion coach.
I think he's okay.
I don't know. I will say this about Vrabel. He is, and I've said this time and time and again, and it's true. He is uniquely qualified to coach this franchise, obviously, for obvious reasons, right? It's rare that a former player translates to being a great coach.
Yeah.
We see the opposite most of the time. D'Amico Ryans is working, but most of the time, former players can't translate because they can't teach. So it's like, I was a great player because of my instinct, because of my film study, because of my preparation during the week for the game.
Yeah.
How I took care of my body, different factors, right? A lot of times as a coach, you can't teach that. You just knew how to do it innately. Mm-hmm. I think Vrabel, D'Amico Ryans, some of these guys who has made that transition from being great players. I'm not saying your 3rd string quarterback doesn't make a great coach. That happens all the time. I'm talking about the ringers. I'm talking about the guys who could really play the game.
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't translate. I think the difference is Vrabel can teach. D'Amico Ryans can teach. That's what it is. If you have that skill to be able to communicate and to show and to teach how this is how I was a great player, this is how you can become one, then you can be a really great head coach who was a great player.
Okay. I think that's all fair.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And here's Julian Edelman. He was on The Herd with Colin Cowherd, explaining what makes Mike Vrabel a great former player that's now a head coach.
What makes him different? Because a lot of good players don't become good coaches.
He's the rare case of being a tough guy that's really smart.
That's funny.
It's weird. You know, he can alpha you with his presence, but he can also alpha you with his mouthpiece. Like, he knows how he could, like, when Mangini said he could recall anything, he could recall, like, we'd be at the Kentucky Derby, and he'd pull out a play that we played against each other when he was with Tennessee, and he said, you know, that one play you did that, and he could just bring it out. I mean, that's what I think is so special about Coach Vrabel. He's got that alpha mentality, but he's also a really smart guy.
Remember, like, how everyone loved, like, I mean, they still do it all the time, how Sean McVay can memorize any play in any game, like the particular, you go, like, you know, 2022, week 7, third quarter, 2 minutes left.
Wheel route, whatever. Right.
Yeah, this whole thing. That's what Edelman points out of, like, how smart he is. Like, that's tapping into that. Except Mike Vrabel played at the highest level.
Yes.
And I think that's great where he goes that basically he's really smart for a tough guy. So he understands football is obviously one in the trenches. He knows its physicality. It's one with having football players. But he understands you have to be prepared every Sunday, too. It's not the talent thing. He doesn't only rely on scheme. He knows it's the players that are important. He knows it's a preparation. And it's literally knowing what you have to do every down, every play on Sunday. That's what I think is important what Julian Edelman points out there.
I think that's well said. I also think there are different styles to this from former players. Like a Dan Campbell, a Jim Harbaugh comes to mind, where they were great players in their own right, but they're master motivators. Stay with me. Vrabel is a master motivator, but also his X's and O's. I'm throwing D'Amico Ryans again. I know this isn't Texans Rush, but he deserves these props.
Really good player.
D'Amico Ryans was a great player, master motivator, and also X's and O's. I think there are certain lanes here for former players who do translate to great coaches. Some of them are just great motivators. Dan Campbell, I mean, I'll run through a wall for the guy, but he can't X and O his way out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
The Lions can't get a Super Bowl because Bro doesn't believe in punting, okay? Yeah. So he rolls the dice too damn much. I think Vrabel has that, and D'Amico has that ability to X and O you to death and master motivate their team. Complete package.
Counting through them now. Dan Quinn, no. Yeah, there's 4 out of the 32 NFL head coaches, 4 of them previously played in the NFL. Obviously, a lot of these guys played.
Well, who are the ringers, though, George?
Jim Harbaugh.
Right.
Mike Vrabel.
Yep.
I need to go back
D'Amico.
to this. Sorry. D'Amico Ryans. Kevin O'Connell was like a practice.
He wasn't a ringer, so take him off.
He played.
Ringers.
He was on a roster in the NFL. He was on a roster.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right. The ringers is the real.
If you were a great player
Dan
and
Campbell was
translated
an okay tight end.
He was no, that's not true.
Don't say really good.
He was.
No, he was okay.
All right, let's get in the break, Brendo.
No.
Can I get Dan Campbell's career? All right, good.
Our producer Brent.
I think he's better than you think.
Hating us today.
I think Dan Campbell is better than you're giving him credit for. He wasn't an All-Pro. Was it trash?
Yes.
Okay, never mind. Take Dan Campbell.
No, don't take the break.
Redact everything.
Guess what his career high for receptions in a season was?
80. No?
No.
What was it?
Not even close.
What?
22.
Never mind.
Thank you. Go to break. We'll talk. We're going to be talking Drake May.
So this is a shorter list than I thought. Okay, Harbaugh. Who we have? Harbaugh, Vrabel.
Jim Harbaugh. Oh, don't take a break yet.
Jim Harbaugh was a great player. We can say Jim Harbaugh wasn't good.
Jenny and our producer,
so Harbaugh wasn't a good quarterback.
No.
He didn't take the cardiac Colts on a deep playoff.
What did you just say? Really good?
Yes.
No. We'll talk about that after the break.
What?
We'll take a break right here.
Jim Harbaugh could ball.
No.